Hi guys, I'm Samina from thecodecottage.com and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is day 4 of our 30 days of code where we are learning how to build your very own WordPress theme from scratch. So as you remember in the last video, that is on day 3 of our 30 days of code, we created these beautiful 3 sections: the navigation section, the logo section, and the hero box section with a featured image. Now let's go back to our PDF wireframe, and today what we are creating is this featured categories section. So say you have a food blog, so possible categories could be cakes, brownies, pies, things like that. Say if you have a fashion blog, then some of the possible categories could be makeup, style, lifestyle, things like that. So you get the idea. So this would be basically the featured categories. The example that I've used here is travel, food and lifestyle. So if I go or click into the travel category, it will take me to a list of posts that have been tagged under the category of travel. So this is excellent to feature some of your most popular categories. So let's get started. So the last time our index.html we had coded up till the hero section. So now I'll copy this comment section and paste it right here. So this will be our new section, which will be the featured category section or categories. Yeah. Now let's begin. So what I would like to explain here first is that this over here is one entire row. This is the row which contains the 3 different categories that we want to feature. So within the row, then we have divided this into 3 parts. So if you have guessed this already, then congratulations, because this then will be within the rows. We'll create 3 different divs with a class of call span 1 of 3. So this will be 1/3, this portion will be 1/3, and so will this portion. So let's get started. Let's create that. So the first is the section tag, and I will give it a class of featured categories and just add that here as well, featured categories. Now within that section I will create my div with the class of row and also add that comment here. Now within this row I'm going to create the 3 divs with the class of call span 1 of 3, call span 1 of 3, and I'm going to copy that and paste it twice more. So these are the 3 different categories. Now within that we will populate it with images and that anchor tag button, this category button. So within my images I have taken the liberty to rename 3 images that I want to choose. So let me just show it to you in my Finder actually, so it's much easier to understand. So these are the 3 images that I will be using. Now if you have noticed, I believe this is one of these images that I have cropped to this size. So we do that in the static HTML side because we cannot define dynamic featured thumbnail sizes here. But when we take this into WordPress, it doesn't matter what the dimension of your image is. So this image will automatically be cropped to fit in a box of this size. So for now we have cropped it to this sizing, but when we transfer all of this code into WordPress, it will happen automatically. So I've taken the liberty to resize these images to be squares just so it's more uniform when we create our code and create the static website. So I have named it category 1.jpg, category 2.jpg and category 3.jpg. So let's introduce these images. It is within my image folder. So I will add img/category 1.jpg. Now I will copy this into my call span 2 and 3 as well, but here I'll say category 2 and category 3. So first, let's see what this looks like. So as you can see, we've got our 3 images, but let's look into the PDF. It's quite well spaced out. So we will be adding some styling to ensure that it's not sticking so close to each other. Now it's time to add the links here. So it will be a button tag. So I'll create an ahref hash just because we don't want it linking anywhere as of now. I'll give it a class of btn space btn cat for category. Close that a tag, and within those a tags I will write travel. Then I will copy the same thing again, paste it below the second category's image, and call it food. And then again I'll paste it for the third category as well and call it lifestyle. So let's save that and check what that looks like. So that's brilliant. We've got our links here as well. Now it looks nothing like this. So our HTML aspect of the code is over. Let's head into the CSS and make changes to our styling. So the very first thing that I want to target, firstly, before we target anything, let's create a distinct section here. I'm just going to, so it's easily visible, and I'll call it featured categories section. Now, what we want to do is target the images within the featured category section. So we have the featured category section and we have an image within that featured category section. So this is how I'm going to write my code: featured categories and the image within the featured category. So now any styling that I'll add here will be applied to the image within featured categories. So what I will do is I will reduce the width to 90%, and because it needs 100%, I will divide that remaining 10% into 2 parts. So margin left of 5%. What this will do is it will create the width of 90 and it will also center align it in that area. So now our images are styled, but now we also need to take care of this button. So the first thing that we want to do is attack all of the styling within featured categories. So I want that text first of all to be center aligned. So I'll go into featured categories. Actually, what I could do is I could add the featured categories before I add it doesn't matter. The positioning is of no real importance here. There's no precedence rule here, but it's just easier for me to understand when I revisit that code if I want to make any change at a later stage. So obviously text align will be center. So as you can see now, even the images have been center aligned. So they are really properly put into the center. Now again for this also I want to do the same thing. So text align is center. Now we want to make this into a button. We don't want it to be a link. We want it to be a button, as we can see here. So let's do that. Now we know that we've already created this styling here for button full, that is full as in to read the full post. So what we can do is do .btn cat. So instead of repeating all of these styling properties again, it's just better to add this. So we are not constantly repeating the same thing over and over again. And here too, we can do btn .btn cat and hover. So let's see what this does. There you go. It creates this button for us. But now, if you have noticed this, you'll realize that we want this to be green and not orange. And we also don't want to repeat ourselves. So how do we go about it? So the best way to handle this situation is to get rid of this color. I'll cut this. Now, I'll create the same rule .btn full this time, because this is the color and background that we add to the full button. I'll create another .btn cat. Now I'll give this the color and background that I want to add for this new one. So that has to be cream, the text color. And the background color has to be green. Okay, so I'm going to take that. Green over here. Perfect. So let's see if that has worked. And yes, indeed it has. So this is orange, and on hover it turns into green, and this is green, and on hover, well, it won't turn into anything because we've added the hover to be green and cream as well. So I will take this out, right? And here I'll give it the opposite. So I'll give it the color and background for the full button. So now when I refresh it, you'll see that it turns into orange on hover, and by default it's green. So we've got our buttons done, but there is another big difference here. This button spans the entire width of the actual image. So that's what we want. We don't want it to be uneven sized. So let's change that. But let's just try doing that and see what happens. So I want to tag the A tag, or I want to target the A tag, the anchor tag within featured categories. So I'll select featured categories A and give it a width of 100%. Let's just see what happens when we do this. So you will see that it does span the whole 100% of the box. But as you see here now, there's something off, like it's just not feeling right. We want it to be the exact width of this image. So as we know, the exact width of that image was 90%. So we'll do that and give it a margin left of 5%. Now let's have a look and see what happens when we refresh. So there you go. This is perfectly aligned now, and I just love how it looks. It's very similar to what we wanted. It's perfect. Now there's just one more thing. Now obviously, because this is a very static wireframe, I cannot exactly show this to you, but I want this navigation bar to follow me as I scroll down. So I don't want this to disappear or hide. I want this to travel with me as I scroll the page. So how do we do that? Oops, sorry. Yeah, so let's get back into our code and go back to our main navigation. So this is our navigation, and if you remember, in our main navigation, it's the header container that contains both the social media links and the navigation menu. So we want to target the header container and give it a position of fixed. By just doing that, you'll see, okay, so there is something happening here. It is following us down, but it gets hidden behind this image here. So we want it to be on top of all the elements. So to tackle that problem, I will give it a Z index of 99999999, just to be sure. Just add about 6 to 7 nines, and I think we're sorted now. So let's try this. There you go. It's following us all the way down as we scroll. Perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. And we have successfully finished this section. So now, as you can see, our website is almost ready, like the category section of the website. But I just noticed a little thing over here. So we have given the featured categories a center align, right? Firstly, I just want to quickly apologize. There is some apartment having their work done. So there's someone sawing off wood. So you may hear that in the background. So I just want to apologize for that well in advance. So let's get started now. Just a quick before we wrap up this session. When I go to featured categories and look at text align over here, now I'm just going to toggle it on and off and just notice this section on the screen, right? So text align, when I toggle it off, it actually gets aligned properly to the center because we have given it that 90% width and 5% margin left, which automatically aligns it to the center. Okay, so just give it a quick look now very carefully. So now I'm going to toggle it on again. You see that it moves a bit to the right and then it becomes uneven. So there's less space here and more space here. I don't know if you're noticing that. I really hope you do. See, I'm toggling this off now. It's off. But what happens when I toggle it off, this text is not center aligned anymore. Now that's a problem, right? Because we want the text to be center. But when the text is centered, so are the images. They go off center basically. So we want to correct that situation. And the best and the easiest way to do this is what I'm going to show you now. So we are going to get rid of featured categories, align center. So text align will not be center anymore. So when I refresh that, you'll see that now it's evenly spaced on both sides, right? So what do we do about this though? Now, as you can see, the text for all the buttons are aligned to the center, even in our wireframe. So here it's center aligned, the text is center aligned absolutely everywhere. So that does not change in absolutely any button, whether it's the full button or the category button. So there you go. The easiest way to solve this problem is to add text align center to our button. So when we refresh it, our text is automatically aligned to the center and our images are also evenly spaced. So this is the easy way to actually align this. By aligning the featured image to the center, this whole section was getting center aligned along with the text. So we don't want to center align the images because we are already doing that with our width equals 90% and margin left equals 5%. So this is essentially center aligning the image within its box. So just to make it clearer, this is the call span box right here. So as you can see, it is evenly spaced in that box. So our image is exactly aligned in the center in that box. And similarly for this box as well, it's exactly aligned in the center. So we do not want to change that. That's the reason why we don't add text align center to our featured categories. I hope this was clear. So we've completed our featured categories section. Now in tomorrow's lesson or in tomorrow's video, we'll be making the sign up section. So it's super exciting and we will also begin creating this part. Maybe we'll see how time permits. I don't want it to be very overwhelming in one video alone. So we have plenty of time. We have 30 days to finish this website. So this is what we'll be doing tomorrow. I hope you are enjoying this series so far, the 30 days of code, make your own WordPress theme from scratch. If you are enjoying this and if you want to stay updated every time a new video is posted, which will be posted every single day for the next 30 days, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell icon so you are notified when every video is uploaded. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you are enjoying it, give it a big thumbs up. Pop down your feedback in the comments below, or if you have any suggestions or any thoughts, put them down in the comments below. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye and happy coding.